hello, everyone. I hope that everyone is having a great day today. We wanted to come to you today to talk about 7 reasons community is the biggest need for women in midlife. Me and Kamisha has had this conversation so many times about community and midlife and women and how in our midlife we seem to tell off when it comes to friends and community and tribes, and that's when we need our sisters the most. And we wanted to come and just kind of talk about this because with the wisdom and bloom, that's what we're here trying to do. We're trying to build a community. We are trying to build a sisterhood and a safe space so you can come and listen and get information and ask questions and hope, to gather and get together soon as well, because this is the time in our midlife period that we really need our community. So we are doing 7 reasons why community is the biggest need for women in our midlife magical moment. Right, Kamisha?
Yes, we are in our midlife magical moments.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are magical, you need more people around you, right? To bear witness to your magic and to
That's
be a
right.
part of your magic,
Mm-hmm.
help you grow your magic.
Mm-hmm. To witness your existence as you
Yes.
shift into this part of your season where it's not always understandable. It's definitely not, because things are happening to your mind, things are happening to your body, things are happening in my case to my hair, my scalp,
Mm.
like everything is shifting. My skin, my mental, everything is shifting. I was speaking with a psychologist today, and it dawned on me that not only do I deal with trauma and PTSD and anxiety and depression,
Mhm.
but I'm dealing with menopause all on top of all the layers of things that I already have. And
Mhm.
so menopause is making it so much more, and the volume is so greater. And the things that I used to do as being an introvert and staying in the house one day and not coming out now is tends to be 3 and 4 days, and
Mm.
just happen. And so here is the time where we need community the most, the biggest need community the most. So
Yes.
the first one of that number 7 is loneliness. And
Mm.
we've talked about loneliness so much before, but we could have several episodes on loneliness and still not tap the surface of what is going on in loneliness, because it is so vast and so great among city to city, state to state, country to country, and it's more prevalent in midlife women.
Yes. And a national study by AARP Research
Hmm.
found that about 40% of adults, US adults, ages 45 and older report feeling lonely, which is up 35% from previous years. And rates are particularly high during this time in midlife because of things that you would think of, I'm sure, which is caregiving,
Yes.
right? So whether you are a caregiver for parents, many people now at this age start caregiving for parents, or they may be caregiving for grandchildren. They have work stress because perhaps they have been in their role for a very long time, or maybe are reaching a level at this age where there's a lot more, work stress going on.
Right.
And then also the changes in the family roles,
Hmm.
right? Because perhaps you have children that are leaving or coming back, or things are happening if in your relationship. Maybe you have been in a long-term relationship for a long time and things are changing there. Maybe somebody has left,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Whether it's a child going off to college or it's a spouse that's no longer, in the picture.
Yeah.
And that can create a lot of feelings of just being alone, being abandoned, being by yourself.
Isolated, being isolated. Yeah.
And so when you have community, that helps to really kind of like bridge, I guess, that gap, because
Hmm.
now you can have that social connection that
Yes.
you are missing as a result of the shift in the people and the roles and things in your life at this age.
Yeah. And that number has even increased from the first time we've talked about being lonely. When we talked about being lonely last year, that number has increased, and it's increased due to perimenopause and menopause and just the small events that happen, your biological and hormonal changes. You become isolated because you don't understand what is happening to you.
So we are
So
like self isolating. So
yeah.
this is not just when people are coming and going in your life of
Mhm,
their own whatever is happening. This
mhm,
is when we are separating ourselves from people and
mhm.
may not even realize that we're doing it.
And we're taking those baby steps backwards to isolate. And before you know it, we are in this state of loneliness. We are alone in what we are going through. And we need our community and our tribe even more. We need, women to be around that are going through the same things, that are having the same questions or having the same mindset and aligning with what's happening to us, so we don't feel alone in the event that is happening at that
Yes.
moment.
Yes, yes, yes. And that actually brings us to our next reason,
Hmm.
which is that social networks
Yep.
protect our long term health,
Hmm.
because loneliness can have a very devastating and kind of negative impact on your health, right?
Yeah.
Research on social connection shows that strong relationships correlate with lower risks of early death and better overall health outcomes, including reduced mortality risk.
Mm-mm.
Some studies estimate that loneliness raises early mortality risk by approximately 26%.
Yeah.
Social isolation, as you were talking about, raises mortality risk by approximately 29. And then living alone can also raise it
Yeah.
in that 30, percent
Mm.
range.
Yeah.
So it's not just about, feeling better about having people around, like it's actually saving your life
Yeah.
having these social connections.
Yeah, in these communities, because community can offer something that your partner or your family can't sometimes fully provide, because
Mm,
they, first of all, they're too close to the situation. They don't understand what is going on. You can't quite articulate to them what is going on because you don't understand what's going on. So they can't provide what you need and how you need to be seen at that moment, like a community of women who are going through the same thing.
right, right. Because they could be like a mirror, right? Reflecting back to you, like what you're experiencing. And
Hmm.
then they can say, oh, I'm experiencing that.
Hmm.
Versus if you have a husband and he's just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I remember we did because we do our Wisdom and Bloom humor, and we do our characters, our cartoons or Pixar characters, and we did one where we posted where we were talking about itchy ears.
Mm,
And I didn't, it was crazy how many women commented and posted and re-shared that cartoon about itchy ears. They were like, "Oh my god, I go through the same thing. I didn't know what that was. Are you telling me that's a part of menopause? I'm going to go
mhm.
talk to my doctor." I mean, it was so many women that was saying that, and I was like, "Wow, that just shows you that there's so many things that goes on with our body during menopause that we don't understand." And there are other women out there who have self-isolated themselves because they think that, "Oh, I'm crazy, my ears are itching. Who am I going to tell my ears are itching? What the hell, what does that have to do with
Or
menopause?"
they're the only one. Yeah, like I don't know
Yeah,
anybody else who has
their
itchy
ears are
ears. Yeah, I have no idea what's happening there or what's
itching.
going on.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
certainly, if you have other people who can speak to it,
mhm,
then you're like, oh my gosh, so that is a menopause thing. I remember when Oprah, she had an episode, this was a long time ago. So this was when she was still on TV in some form. I
mhm.
don't know if she's even on TV now. Does she still have her own network? I don't know.
She still has her own network,
Don't she?
but she does the podcast show now.
Yes. Okay. So she was still on television and she had brought someone on. This was, like I said, many years ago before this boom now in menopause, health, and education and understanding menopause. And she was talking about some of her experiences.
Mhm,
And one of the symptoms that she learned was a menopausal experience. I mean, a menopause symptom was heart palpitations.
mhm,
And
mhm.
I remember when I was going through, early stages of menopause, and I would have these heart palpitations, and my heart would be racing and beating out of my chest, and then like beating irregularly. And had I known that that could have been what was going on, I wouldn't have had to see, heart specialists and all of these doctors. But even just talking to other women who might be able to say, oh, that's what it was. And I'm telling you, once I saw that one little, I don't know what else they talked about in that menopause episode. All I know is once I heard them say that, I felt such a sense of relief. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that is exactly what has happened. And,
Hmm.
Oprah would create those kinds of communities and spaces where women can come together with other women to talk about things happening with women. And I feel like, as social as we are, we still don't have those spaces, because it's not just about having a place to go and look at what's happening, but
Right.
it's also having a place that's a safe space, right?
That's
Where you feel like you can actually share this information with people that are going to understand.
and they're not looking at you like you're crazy, you know.
Right. Or judging,
Yeah.
right? Or judging you, or what it is that you're saying, or what you're going through.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that brings us to number three, where it talks about identity shifts needs a witness.
Mm,
Someone needs to witness what you're going through to help you make sense of it, because they're going through it too.
mm-hmm.
So we shift ourselves from what we knew our bodies to be at one
Mm-hmm.
point in our life to this new thing, this new biological change that our bodies are now. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's almost like a complete identity shift that hits you all at once. We heard about menopause. We know that the my grandmother used to say the change, and that's what they used to call it. And you don't understand it, but it's literally a change. Your body is going through change after change after change. And some women, they breeze through menopause. They
Mm-hmm.
don't even know that it's happening to them. For
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason, their body just kind of breezes through. And then there's some women who are in the middle of the road of it. But then there are some women who get every symptom. You name a symptom, they're getting it. Some of them can't even work anymore. You know,
Mm-hmm.
some of them can't even hold a 20-minute conversation, because menopause has induced ADHD and anxiety in them because of all the changes that are happening. I have experienced so much with menopause that sometimes I I'm doing something, then I start doing another thing, and then I can't even remember what I was doing the first time. You know what I mean? So
Yes, it
it's a,
definitely
it's a
happens.
true identity shift. It
Right.
really is.
Right. Well, that's like a physical identity, right? What's happening with your body. But then there's also like spiritual and emotional
Mhm,
identities,
mhm,
because I do see where women at this age start to think more about their lives,
mhm,
right? And start trying to figure out, like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we here? What is happening? Who am I now,
mhm.
without all the things, all the people, all the labels that, used to mean so much? And so that's another stage too of like shifting your identity and
Yeah,
who you are
yeah,
becoming. And I know that was a big title for Michelle Obama, becoming,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I think this is that stage in life
There's
where we
more.
are becoming that next version of ourselves.
Mhm,
And then having other women help to, like you said, bear witness to who we are becoming and encourage us into who it is that we are becoming. And not, like you said, make it seem like, oh, it's strange or it's weird, or like, why are you changing? And don't you want to stay the same? And people are used to who you used to be. They
mhm.
don't want to see you different or whatever. Where you have, a community that's supportive of other women that are also in that phase
Yeah,
of their life,
yeah.
where
Ab-
they are shifting their kind of who people thought they were, that
mhm.
sort of identity,
Yep.
because
Yeah.
they are having awakenings, right? Whether
I
it's
mean,
some kind
true
of
awakening.
spiritual awakening,
Mhm,
right? Or it could just be an awakening about the world, or
mhm,
about life, or about the longevity that we have here, right? Because you get to a point where you're 50 and you're like, well, not that many people live to be 100, right? So
mhm,
more years are behind me than are ahead of me.
mhm.
And what do I want to do with that time? And
And
sometimes that people, women have like a drastic change in
mhm,
who they are,
yeah,
and other people who have not had that awakening may not understand it.
may not understand it. I think that's how the We Do Not Care Club was birthed. That
Mm,
awakening, that identity shift, that
mm,
shift in, wait a minute, I don't want to continue to live the way I'm living, especially with all the changes that are happening. I have to
mm.
do something for me. I can't
Absolutely.
care about every minute thing. I just can't.
I don't know why I did in the first place, but I definitely don't now.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
Right. Another reason why Midlife Women Need community is because the emotional labor has to be released and discharged
Somewhere.
somewhere, right? Somewhere. Many times we, especially if you're like a Gen X person, or you're like a latchkey kid or whatever, you're like very, kind of independent
Yep.
and strong and steady and the dependable one and
Mhm.
the responsible one and all of that. But if you're always the person that's holding up everyone else, then
Yeah.
who helps to
Hold
hold
up
you
you.
up?
Mhm.
Right. And so if you have a community of women that can allow you space where you don't have to be the strong one,
Yeah.
they will be there to support you. That's important too. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's one of our points. I think that especially as Black women, it's something we need to spend more time doing, like
Yeah.
letting go of this idea that it has to be us for everything,
Mhm.
because it doesn't have to be us for everything.
Don't have to be the strong person on every corner.
Yeah, and we
All
can't
the
do everything. I mean, just look at the 92%, right, that voted
Yeah.
in our election, and still it did not come, happen in our favor, right?
Mhm.
Because we can't just do everything by ourselves. And so having other people and other communities real help you to understand that it doesn't always have to be you,
Yeah.
and they can support you is important too.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Number 5 is courage grows in groups. Courage
Mhm.
grows in groups. And I just think that is so powerful because our confidence level grows when we're in a community that understands and can say, hey, that's happened to me too. We can
Mm-hmm.
all be brave together.
Mm-hmm.
Courage grows in groups and it builds your confidence because you now have validation that what
Mm-hmm.
is happening to you is a real thing. No matter how many doctors has dismissed you, no matter how many has misdiagnosed you, no matter how many times your family members say there's nothing wrong with you, you're still the same person, I don't even see nothing happening. No matter how many times that happens, when you get into a community, when you get into a tribe of midlife women who are going through the same thing that you're going through, it validates your pain. It
Mm-hmm.
validates the issues. It validates your shift. It validates your change. It validates everything that you was thinking about in your brain that is
Mm-hmm.
different about you, but you just can't quite put your finger on it.
Mm-hmm.
It validates that. So courage definitely grows in your community, in your groups.
Yeah, and also as women are shifting in this phase in their life, whether it's you are changing careers, right? Or maybe you don't want a career anymore. Maybe you want to be one of those people that just goes and lives off the land. I don't know, but like whatever stage you're in where you're doing something that's out of the box or different, whether it's different because not many other people are doing it that are in your circle, or whether it's different just because it's something you've never experienced before and it's different, it helps you to have other people who are also like being brave with their
Yes.
lives, because then it encourages you then to say, oh well, if Denise is out here, starting her own business, then
Mhm.
maybe I can start my own business too, right? But if you have people around you where no one has started anything
Yeah.
and they're telling you that's not something that you can do, then
Yeah.
you're not going to have that same kind of, courage, or you might even feel like you can't do it. It's going to make you feel, as though
Mhm.
it's something you can't achieve. But if you are in groups where women are having some of those same shifts or changes or enlightenments or whatever it is, I
Yeah.
mean, it can be a big thing or it can even be, kind of a small thing. And you need to make some adjustments, but you need that. It's going to take some courage, right, to do that thing. Community will
It's
help you.
essential. It's essential. Yeah.
It is.
It's essential. Yeah. Which is why we are trying to build this community, build this sisterhood. So y'all just come on, bloomers.
Yes, come and join us in our Wisdom and Bloom communities.
Mhm.
Whether you are watching us on, line or listening to us on our podcast,
Mhm.
or you want to join our Patreon community, because this is something that we really believe in. That's one of the main reasons we created this podcast,
Mhm.
is to grow a sisterhood for these reasons and like many, many other reasons.
Yep, I agree. Number 6,
Hmm.
support systems quietly shrink. Your
Mm.
support system quietly shrinks. By midlife, life naturally just scatters, and the people just scatter. There's relocation, there's divorce, there's busy schedules, there are caregiving duties, people pass away, and many women wake up one day and realize that their social world now is smaller.
Hmm.
Used to be, the community is not no longer optional. Now it becomes what needs to be your protective barrier because your social world has shrunk.
Yeah.
So your support systems begin to shrink, your identity begins to shift, you begin to change. Biological community is needed.
Hmm.
Your support system is shrinking, but your community system needs to increase at that moment. It really
Yeah.
does.
And I think too, once you're like, if your social community is shrinking
Mm-hmm.
and you don't do anything about it, then you'll shrink, right?
Ooh,
You will shrink, right? You will shrink as well if you are not doing something to try and build back up that community for yourself.
yeah.
And then it goes back to that whole cycle, like you said, where we started with, where now you're alone. And, because sometimes I think women, I've seen this with, some members of my family,
Yeah.
as you've said, people will pass away. Like, or maybe your friend, a couple of your close friends have died and you don't do anything about that, right? You don't then, not that I'm saying you can replace these people, of course,
Because you can't.
but right, because they're not replaceable,
Mhm.
but you don't then go find new connections
Yeah.
where you can still feel like you could be your full self and have something to look forward to and have friendships and people in your life that still care about you.
Mhm.
And then you kind of get into this place of, oh, there's nobody, there's no one left, everybody has died, all of my friends are gone, I'm going to be next, and you're, instead of looking at the life that you have left, now you're looking at, oh, I'm going to be gone soon, right?
And alone.
And alone. I'm
Mhm.
going to be dead, I'm going to be alone, and then I'm going to be dead, and I'm going to be alone. And then, what if I die and nobody knows that I even died because I'm alone in my home and
Yeah.
nothing, right? Nobody is here to see anything that's happening. And so don't shrink yourself, ladies, right? Recognize that this is what happens in life, right? People come, people go, things change. But
Yeah.
you are the person that can help to manage that for yourself and for your mental and physical health,
That's
right? Like, you don't want to allow that to have any, impact on your mental and physical health, because these things do. Lots of times we don't want to talk about
right.
how being lonely, being alone can have really a serious impact on both your mental and your physical health.
And we're not talking about being alone because you need to heal, or being alone because you
Mm.
need to reevaluate whatever situation you're in, or being alone because you need to take care of yourself mentally and physically. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about self isolation and ostracizing yourself because you don't think no one else understands what you're going through, and you start suffering in silence.
Do you think
That's
that some women, though, Denise, realize that that's what they're doing? Do you think they even realize they're isolating themselves into, or do they just look up one day and they're like, "Oh my God, like, where's everybody?"
No, from experience, from personal experience. One day you're just down the rabbit hole and you just don't know how to climb out. You don't
Mm.
know how to climb out. One day I'm out and about, I'm doing things, and before I know it, I'm wearing yoga pants and I've been in this house 4 or 5 days. So you don't know that. You don't actually look at that and say, "Oh, I'm self isolating. I need to." No, you don't know that. It's like
Are you saying to yourself, like, "Oh, I love being home. I love my home. I love being home. I love being with the people. Like, my mortgage is high and I need to spend as much time as."
But it's almost like your mind is playing tricks on you and giving you those excuses to make it okay for you to isolate. That's
Mm.
what it's like.
Yeah, I can see that.
Hmm.
Especially too, if people, or women, we're talking about women, but if, like, you haven't dealt with some
Hmm.
things from your past in your life, whether it's like abandonment issues, right, that may have occurred as a child even, and
Hmm.
now you are in a place where people have left for whatever reason,
Yeah,
but you have never dealt with your own personal abandonment issues.
that's
And
right.
you allow that now to have a major impact
Hmm.
who you are in midlife.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
It's a heavy pill, too. It's a heavy
Mm-hmm.
pill, and you cannot climb out of that alone. You need community, you need therapy.
Mm-hmm.
It is not something that you are able to, trust me, I tried to do it for years,
Alone.
many years by myself, alone, trying to figure it out. And you can't. You got to get help, and you have to ask for help. And
Yeah.
you have to help educate your family members so they understand what you're going through. So they look at you in different lenses.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at the you that they've known to serve them, and they for some reason can't take those lenses off when you are shutting down because they don't see it. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to educate them so they'll look at you in different lenses and know that mom is different. Mom needs help. She isn't the same. Her identity has shift, and
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason we need to educate ourselves so we can be there to help her.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're right though. The first step though is recognizing it for
Yeah,
yourself,
you
right?
gotta recognize.
Gotta recognize that you are not in a good place,
Yeah.
and then use the people that you already have
Hmm.
to help you understand what's going on,
Hmm.
so that they can be a support and then help you get that support.
And even in therapy, like bring them alone, let them hear a session, let them get educated on what you're going through,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
it helps, it really helps.
Yeah, it definitely does. And even if you're in a place where maybe you don't feel like you are needing therapy, or
Hmm.
maybe you've gone through therapy and you're like,
Hmm.
but you just need people,
Hmm.
right? You just need
Community.
people to have a conversation with.
Hmm.
Like, really, just a simple thing as having a conversation with another person about life or whatever you're going through
Hmm.
can really be very impactful. I know sometimes we think, oh, what do I need to talk to Denise about? She's not going to have anything new to share with me on, whatever I'm going through. But you don't know that, right? You don't know what people are going through. You don't know what people have gone through or women have gone through, especially women. I
Hmm.
mean, as much as we talk about things, sometimes we still don't talk about things, right?
we talk
But
we talk at the thing.
yes. And so sharing with other women what's going on in your life, you would be surprised at just having that conversation, how you can feel lighter,
Hmm.
right? How your load or stress or whatever can help you feel lighter by
Hmm.
maybe one simple thing that person says to you
Yeah.
that you hadn't thought of because you're just in your head and you're
Yeah.
not talking to anybody about it, right? You just talking to yourself, which isn't going to help you because that's the problem right now,
Hmm.
right? You're not able to come up with those solutions
Yeah.
because the place of the problem is not going to be the same place of the solution. The solution is going to be somewhere different.
Somewhere different. That's right. And as much as you can educate and get the support from your family, they are not your sounding board. They're
Mm-hmm.
not, because you are with them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing you don't want to happen is for your family to get exhausted and get
Mm-hmm.
burdened by you. So they're not always the people you need to talk to. You need to go outside the family. And whether that looks like therapy or a good friend or a support group or a community, whatever that looks like, you need to step out and kind of dump elsewhere and
Mm-hmm.
not always in your home, because your family isn't equipped to help the new identity, because
Mm-hmm.
they're still stuck on, I just want things the way they used to be. I just want things back the way, well, shit, I do too,
Right.
But
I like things change, but some people don't like change, so I understand that.
yeah. But even with that, I'm a different person now. I gotta grow. I gotta evolve. I gotta shift. And if this shift means going through menopause to get to that shift and to be blessed with an older age, then I need to get there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And in
Mm-hmm.
order to get there, I need to get there with a community who understands the journey, because my family is just, they're not going to understand it. They're there to support, but you don't want to exhaust your family.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
really
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Like you said, they don't understand and they might even be like
don't.
tired of hearing it, right? They're like, here she goes again. Here she goes
Right.
again.
Because this is the thing with family. Today I got up. Today I took a shower. Today I went to an appointment. Today I cooked. Today I watched a movie with you. Tomorrow I may not even be able to get out of the bed. Tomorrow, tonight, I may not be able to sleep. Tomorrow, I may not even be able to take a shower. They're looking at, well, what happened yesterday? You was fine yesterday. You got
Mm-hmm.
up, you took a shower, you did this, you went to your appointment, you cooked us dinner. What is going on now? Why are you understand what I'm saying? That's what family is seeing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you need that community, because sometimes it just happens like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes menopause hits you, you got heart palpitation, you got hot flashes, your brain won't shut off, you're getting brain
Mm-hmm.
fog. You don't want to get out of bed today. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care what I did yesterday. Today is a different damn day.
Right, right.
You don't always get that card. You don't always get that self-care card from family, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, the challenge with families too is that I think they also don't always challenge you
Hmm.
because they just love you,
Yeah,
right?
of
They just
course.
love you however you are, hopefully, right?
Yeah,
We're talking about somewhat healthy families and not wild, crazy ones. But, if you're going through something, they just want to be able to help you. So if you say, I just want to lay in the bed for, the rest of my life, they're like, okay, we love you, whatever you want to do that makes you happy, right? Whereas you might need that girlfriend that comes over and is like, no, you need to get up out
get
of the
it
bed
up.
today. You need to get dressed. You need to go to the door and look outside at the sun,
Mhm.
right? And many times family doesn't want to push you like that,
Yeah,
right? They
yeah.
just want to,
Just leave her alone. She's okay.
right, right, want you to stay comfortable and they want you to do whatever you want to do. And they think that that is helpful
Yeah.
sometimes.
I can remember I was living abroad. I think I was living in Italy when this happened, and I went into a really bad depression. Something triggered me and I couldn't get out of that trigger. And so I went into a bad depression and I didn't come out of the house for like 2 or 3 days. I'm in the dark on the couch and my kids, and I would get myself up just enough to get them out of the house to school. Then I go right back in the house and in the dark laying on the couch. And I think it was around the third day, I got a knock on the door, and the door happened to be unlocked. And I'm like, come in. And it was two of my girlfriends that I had met over there. And they came in there and it was like, I don't know what's going on, but you about to get up. They literally were like getting me up, turning on lights, taking my clothes off, putting me in the shower. I'm crying the whole time. They're crying with me. One was down there cooking food, and they refused to let me be in that dark. And I think about that all the time. Like that was a community for me. The time I was over there, they were a community for me. And to see how far that one of them didn't go to work that day, they was like, nope, we're here, you're gonna get up, you're gonna take a shower. And that when you're depressed, you don't care what is happening around you. The cooking, one's cleaning, they opening curtains, doing all the things. And I was forever grateful to them,
Mm-hmm.
because slowly and surely I start kind of
Mm-hmm.
coming back to me, and that's when you truly need that community. You need someone to say, wait, I haven't seen her for a while. What the hell's going on? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Or I haven't talked to her for a while. Let me just call and check on her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And see what's happening.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So what is our last one, Denise? What is number
Our last one,
7?
number 7, is midlife awakens the desire for expansion and not just responsibility.
That's a big thing for women,
Very,
right?
very big.
Because we are taught to be responsible.
Hmm.
And like I said, especially our age group,
Hmm.
these Gen X women, we were like the latchkey kids.
Yes, very much so.
We were responsible. Like that is what we did. We were the
Your
responsible
mama say you
ones.
don't open the door for nobody, you don't open the door. You don't care. I don't care if my aunt was at the door. Mama told me not to
No,
open
I
the
can't
door.
open the door.
I
I'm
can't
not.
open the door. Mm-hmm.
I'll tell her you can't buy, but I'm not
Yep.
letting you in.
Call
And
her.
that carried through your
Mm-hmm.
life where
Mm-hmm.
you feel like responsible for everything and everyone. But then you get to a certain stage in your life, in midlife, where you're like, I don't think I care about being responsible for everybody anymore, right? Whether it's just a hormonal thing or, like you
Mhm.
said, it's an expansion thing. Like you are
Yeah.
at a point now where you're like, no, I don't feel like
I don't think I
that's
want to do
who
that.
I am anymore, right? I don't feel
I don't
like
want to do
that's
that.
me. That's not my role right now.
Yeah.
I have
I don't want to do
a different role, right? And it's not
that. Mhm.
about being responsible. And it
Mhm.
might not even be about having all of those labels, right?
Yeah.
Because when we're younger women too, you aspire to be, many do, not everyone, like a mom
Yeah.
and a wife,
Yeah.
right? Or partnered with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to a certain stage and you're kind of like, that's not
Yeah.
me anymore, whether you choose it or whether it happens to you.
Yeah.
And that is an opportunity, like you said, to expand, to
Yeah.
grow, right? And to move into this new phase in your life, and having community that has been there or that might be going through the same thing at the same time. Because that's another thing that women love, right? We love to have other women who are going through the same thing that we are going through. And it just makes us better.
Yeah. Because you know what community does? Community fuels reinvention.
Mm,
As you see your sisters doing it and you like, wait a minute,
mm,
I can do it too.
mm-hmm,
And if those sisters are willing to share knowledge and impart, wisdom and insights, that's even greater, even greater. Community sparks reinvention. Community sparks the courage to reinvent. Community fuels your reinvention, and it provides your energy, and it provides you inspiration and
mm-hmm.
courage, and it reminds you that life is far from being over.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for that one too. Absolutely. We can be around other women that help us see that we are still in the prime of our lives,
Yep.
right? This is not the end. This can be so many new beginnings for you that
Mhm.
can be exciting. I
Yeah.
mean, just think you can actually become a whole new person.
Yeah. You can reinvent yourself.
Right? You can become a whole new person, right?
Mhm.
However it happens, right? Maybe you've always wanted to do something, but you
Mhm.
couldn't because you were always taking care of your kids.
That's
Now
right.
your kids are not don't need to take care of them anymore. They're out
Mhm.
doing their own thing. And you're like, okay, I can revisit an old dream,
Yep.
right? I
Yep.
can revisit an old goal, or I can just create some new ones and have some kind of like positive enthusiasm around those things too. Not that negative, oh, woe is me, all is done, life is over. It's like, no,
Mhm.
no, 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 no.
Do all the things that.
Yeah. But having a community of women who are also doing those things and looking at life is like, no, this is actually our time. We actually have awakened to the fact that,
And it's actually okay.
yes, yeah, we haven't had an awakening. Like we actually have power, we have autonomy, we have freedom. We can do whatever we want to do.
Yeah. Especially in a country where elderly is invisible and not recognized or reverend at all. We have to do it for ourselves.
And we're not even elderly. Like that's just so rude, right? Because when you ask a young person, I'm saying young as in like teenager, early 20s, they think like 40 is old. They
Mhm.
think, oh my God, 50. Oh my God, that's so old.
Mhm.
Because of, like you said, our society always catering to
Mhm.
young people and
And
the
because
youth.
they're catering to young people have no respect and no reverence for older people. They
Mm-hmm.
don't. They just
Mm-hmm.
they just want us to go away.
Right.
Go away.
Yes. That could be
But,
a whole nother episode because I still don't
community says
understand
we're
why it's
not.
happening. Hmm.
I said, but community says we're not going away.
No.
Yeah, that's a whole nother episode, though. I just don't get it. I don't understand it either, Kamisha.
I don't understand it either. I'm sure there's something that will explain to us how our country here in the United States has come to be really about like throwing away the old and trying to replace them with youth,
Mm-hmm.
and like the younger the better
Mm-hmm.
in many cases, which is inappropriate in many cases and just wrong in some things. But then it also doesn't make a lot of sense either, you know?
Nope, I agree.
But anyways,
I
all
agree.
right. Thank you, Denise. This has
Thank
been
you.
good. This has been very powerful. And ladies, if you have connected to anything that we have shared here about community,
Yeah.
being a part of a community, and joining a community, please consider joining
Please
our
consider.
Wisdom and Bloom community.
Yes, we would
Yes.
love to have you. We are at Wisdom and Bloom Podcast on all social media platforms. Our podcast, audio and video, is on several platforms. There's probably not too many platforms that the Wisdom and Bloom is not either audio or video. And also come to our social media page and fill out our community so we can reach out to you, so you can be a part of our community, our
Oh, wow.
newsletter, and all the things that we are planning this year. We would just love to have you guys to be a part of it. We
Yes.
would love it. Don't let your community, shrink.
Mhm.
Let's help each other to increase it. And with digital and virtual, we can reach so many people. So come join us.
Exactly. If you are a woman in midlife and you want to have some support in facing this time of your life with community and with courage and with grace,
And with
then we are your people.
we on your people.
This has been another wonderful episode of the Wisdom and Bloom podcast. We thank you.
We think
And keep blooming, ladies.
keep blooming.